A warning was just issued for truckers who don't fall in line, especially those that support former President Donald Trump, as a majority of them now fear that their money in their bank account will be frozen. Either that or they'll be fined, just like the former president, for boycotting deliveries to New York. And while many will say that Trump is at a disadvantage, it looks like the Supreme Court just handed him exactly what he needs. Heading into the 2024 presidential elections, some claim that this is the biggest legal victory for Trump in years. The United States Supreme Court has recently decided to hear the former president's claims of immunity while he was serving as the 45th president of the United States.
It's far from a done deal, but presidential immunity for Donald Trump over his efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election result is back on the table. He hailed the decision in a post to his own social media platform, Truth Social.
Without presidential immunity, a president will not be able to properly function or make decisions in the best interest of the United States of America. Presidents will always be concerned and even paralyzed by the prospect of wrongful prosecution and retaliation after they leave office.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments on the decision of a Washington, D.C. appeals court that said they could not accept that the office of the presidency places its former occupants above the law for all time thereafter. But a former president facing criminal charges is uncharted territory.
This is the type of case that the Supreme Court does look at. It's a big constitutional question. It's a matter of first impression because we've never been here before.
With around 91 charges against Trump, delaying all of them is going to be a key factor if he wants to win in November. Some experts claim that with him being prosecuted this much in public, it raises a very important question. Why do they want him out of the White House this badly? Now, before I break all of this down for you guys in this video, all I ask is that you guys take 1 second, drop a quick like for the video. I totally appreciate that. And I just want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and always sharing these videos. It totally helps out the channel. So thank you guys so much for that. So Trump has said that he wants peace between Ukraine and Russia. He also doesn't want the American taxpayers giving away billions of dollars overseas and to illegal immigrants. He also talked about closing the border so that Americans could sleep without worry. Most of these issues resonate with a lot of Americans, and it's just one of the reasons why voters are confused about those charges. This decision from the Supreme Court, though, it's probably going to cause a ripple effect within many of Trump's cases. It's already pushed the High Court to pause the DC 2020 election trial, something that special counsel Jack Smith isn't very happy with. This means that the Supreme Court has to first decide if President Trump had immunity while serving as president. They have to do this before they can even resume the trial. Now, the High Court has already said that a president is entitled to absolute immunity from civil liability for official acts. It's not just Trump, though. It's every president that's been voted into the White House. So yes, that includes President Joe Biden. The timetable for the Supreme Court is not set in stone. So basically, they could decide on this tomorrow, next year. There's really no definite timetable for it. However, many experts agree that presidents should be granted immunity while in the White House. Without it, they say that the presidency would just cease to exist. Having Trump charged without immunity would set a precedent where we see prosecution of a president as a norm. This means that every future president would be charged by a politically opposed administration. That would not be a good thing. So Trump jumped on social media to praise the decision of the Supreme Court and echo the statements of experts. So the former president said that without presidential immunity, a president would not be able to properly function or make decisions in the best interest of the United States of America, and that this will cause concern and probably paralyze a president. This could then lead to extortion and blackmail. But what do you guys think about that? So let's go ahead and circle back to the support that Trump's getting from truckers, right? So it looks as if the movement has settled down with a smaller number of truckers denying shipments to New York. Many truckers have hesitated to do the same since bank accounts have already been frozen before in relation to protests. It happened in Canada, which means that this is not impossible that it could happen here. And much like Trump, they also understand what kind of a financial strain that this would put on their businesses. However, New York doesn't really need much help at the moment if the goal is to lower the standard of living. So New York City Mayor Eric Adams is now calling for a change to sanctuary city laws. He says that these new laws protect illegal immigrants in the city to a point where they're now a clear detriment to the safety of the public. He also said that agencies in the city should have communication and also be free to cooperate more readily with the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is for them to be able to deport any illegal immigrants who have been accused of committing crimes. And while a lot of New Yorkers agree with this idea, there are a few who still feel as if this is discriminatory. Zachary Ahmad, senior policy counsel in the New York Civil Liberties Union, he said that Adams' threat to end the city's sanctuary status is worrying. he said that it could lead to the cruel targeting of their immigrant neighbors. Now, again, just so it's clear, the point here is that crime is going up because of illegal immigrants. But Ahmad says that this is wrong on so many levels. He argues that there's no crime wave in New York at all. Is somebody here from New York that could kind of back up this claim from Ahmad? Because that's not what we're hearing. That's not what I'm hearing. Because he says that instead of deporting these people, the city should instead provide them with secure housing, supportive services, and legal assistance. So like free houses, free debit cards and checks every month, and what, free attorneys and lawyers? That's what they're saying. Other members of New York City Council, they've said that changing the law where illegal immigrants are deported for their crimes is harmful to the city. Many analysts are confused by this statement given that just recently a New Yorker was killed by an illegal immigrant. In fact, multiple lives have already been lost, but they're telling us that deporting these people would be a detriment to the city. Do you agree with them? Can y'all somehow help me to make some sense of this? Now, we all know that Texas Governor Greg Abbott has been a great defender for the American people. He fought hard to try and keep our borders safe. However, this also means that illegal immigrants are now moving from the Texas border over to Arizona. Why? Because they have a governor that doesn't really mind an influx of people coming into the United States. Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs, she's facing a lot of pressure from Republicans as legislation for their borders have been introduced. Now, like I said, there's a lot of people crossing our borders that are avoiding Texas due to how strict they are. This has now left them with one of two options, Arizona and California. So Arizona on its end, it's now the most popular area to cross given how relaxed they are when it comes to security. It's also expected that this bill that aims to criminalize entering the state of Arizona illegally is going to be vetoed by Hobbs. She said that she understands how the people of Arizona feel, adding that she's also frustrated and disapproves of the lawlessness that open borders have created. But even with all that, Hobbs said that this bill would kill businesses, it would raise costs and destroy jobs for countless working Americans. Now, I can't tell for certain, but this could be connected to illegal immigrants who are now working in Arizona. The problem, though, is that some of them are actually getting work by using fraudulent social security numbers and documents. This in turn could cause huge issues for the actual person who really owns the social security number down the line. The border is seen as a huge political battlefield for both Democrats and for Republicans. In fact, President Biden and former President Trump recently visited Texas on the same day. Now, this is the second time for President Biden. However, critics were harsh about where he decided to visit. So instead of going to the hotspots, which are Arizona or Eagle Pass, he decided to go to Brownsville. Nobody was even talking about Brownsville. Now, this is a border town in Rio Grande Valley, which really is not a key point for illegal immigrants anymore. Trump, on the other hand, showed up at Eagle Pass and said that while we have a dangerous border, he's already got a plan to take care of it. To date, polls show that 57% of voters trust Trump to take care of the borders, while 22% said that Biden can get it done. But what do you guys think about that? Now, as for myself, I'm going to continue to work on this and keep you guys posted and informed every single day. Before I go, I want to thank y'all for hitting the like button. Thanks for sharing these videos, and I'll see you on the next one.